And that's it. I'm so souped I got HBO Go now. I'm going to be a HBO whore. Now I can watch Bill Maher. I can finally watch that series that everyone's talking about that I can't remember the name of right now.
All right, let's do this here.
All right, so Gambit kicking ass out the door.
Yeah, that's where we left off with Phantom X kicking Gambit.
All right, pick it up. Phantom X kicking his ass out the door, and then where's the? Oh, that's the last page right after that. All right, so that's easy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's do it. So Daddy can watch some Game of Thrones in HD instead of shitty, crappy quality on Kodi.
All right, here we go. Ready? All right, so take it.
All right, we had some technical difficulties, so there are little hiccups. Forgive. Anyway, so last I left off, Gambit was getting his ass, not Gambit, but Phantom X was getting his ass kicked through a door with Mystique, going on their next adventure, wherever the fuck that is. Gambit and Rogue and Logan are standing around, and Gambit's like, what? So what? He's an asshole. And Rogue's like, actually nothing. Well done. Fuck him. And Logan's like, yeah, good riddance. Because nobody likes Phantom X for some reason, although Phantom X is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I like him too a lot in here.
And when I read him, I try my damnedest to do a French accent in my head.
Yeah, like the Cajun accent.
Well, like I do Gambit from the cartoon series. That's the Gambit I use in my head from the 90s X-Men cartoon on Fox. And Phantom X I use like real, like legit, like I can't do a French accent, but like I do. This is not a show, but a game, a competition, like, you know, like that kind of, because he's like French, you know. So I try to do that French accent. I am appalled at your nerve. Anyway, so as Rogue, Gambit, and Logan are about to go through their doors, Logan says Phantom X is an asshole, but he was right. They're not alone, and you know, no matter whatever hell they walk through when they walk through these doors, they know one thing, that, you know, they're going to be doing this together. They're not going to be doing this by themselves. So at the same time, we're going back and forth, panel to panel, Farouk and Charles, Gambit, Rogue, and everybody. And Charles and Farouk are having a conversation, and Charles asks Farouk if he's going to keep his agreement. And Farouk tells him that he will, because if he doesn't, he knows Charles won't play his little fucking games anymore. And if Farouk wins, he gets to keep their souls, which I am assuming means their consciousnesses, and their bodies to use as vessels in the real world, which is a scary thought. And Charles, it really is, because then like he has control over their bodies. He can make them do, and you know, there's some powerful people, like Rogue can fly, super strength, Gambit can charge, blow shit up. Fucking Logan, like those are really fucked up people. Mystique, she could be anybody. She could kill the president, take over the country. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit. But if Charles wins, and it's not much of a prize, people, if Charles wins, he gets to give the X-Men a quick death, which is fucked up. And he kind of agrees to it. You know, he's like, he thanks them, and he says, after all, they are my X-Men. And then when they end it, Wolverine and Charles are saying at the same time in two separate places that we're all in this together. And then it, you know, it to be continued. And then the cover of the next issue is, it's Wolverine throughout different periods in his life. It starts as he's a child, and then it hits the Weapon X, and then he's in the Wolverine costume, and then he's Old Man Logan. And I think it's Carlos Pacheco art. And so I get the feeling that they're going to be in some really big head trips next issue.
Yeah. Because Professor Xavier still talks with the black outlines to his stuff. So I think it's still, even though he's doing his best to control what he can say, I don't think he's totally all up there yet. So I think when he gets full control, like his speech and his thought bubbles will be, you know, normal again, so to speak. So I think that's why he's almost like agreeing to kill them at this point, even if he wins, because it's not really his own words.
I think he's just like lying to him, and he's going to figure something out down the road, because they're going to be in there for a while. But
you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Captain Steuben. Paging Captain Steuben. Captain Steuben. Paging Captain Steubing.
Where'd you go?
I'm right here. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
All right, there you go. Now I
All
can hear you.
right, sweet.
We're having some bad technical difficulties here today, guys. So we're trying to wrap up the end of this show. If you sense a speed to the ending here, I have internet company on the way tomorrow to fix some issues I've been having before I drop that company altogether the following week, and I get files, hopefully fixing my issues for good. But what do you think? What do you think altogether? Buy, borrow, or forget?
All right, I'm trying to make this quick so the internet doesn't cut out. I've thoroughly enjoyed this issue. I love Mike Deodato's art. It's Mike Deodato. That's self-explanatory. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. There's tons of friggin' detail. Okay, so the story doesn't. I don't know what to say about this. It technically doesn't move far. We go from the theater to the doors, and that's basically it. And we're still on top of the building, and we get to see the people in the helicopters, you know, wondering what's going on, what they're doing, why they attacked. You know, they have no clue what's going on. So I know we're going to get more from that. I mean, there's tons of things going on. There's tons of wheels spinning in this story, and Charles Soule seems to just be, or Soule, whatever it is, seems to be handling it like very, very well. He like. Unlike Spider-Man 2, where nothing happened and it was boring as fuck but funny, this didn't seem to move forward, but technically it did because it had to do with their minds. You know what I mean? Like they at first they didn't know where they are. They had to overcome that. The whole entire play was hilarious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing Charles and Farouk kind of narrating the whole mess, like kind of like sportscasters talking about the game while it's going on. That was pretty cool. The obligatory fight splash page was pretty awesome with the Gene corpse throwing up on Logan's head, even though it was a hand. Take a look, you'll laugh.
Yeah, I know.
The reveal of Beast being Mystique, even though it was obvious, it was still fun. The banter between all the characters. I really enjoyed this issue. I think the first issue was damn good. I think this issue was damn good. It's very well written. The art has been beautiful so far. A lot of people would be apprehensive about a series where the artist changes on every single issue, but I think with a story that takes place in the astral plane, where you don't know if it's real or fake, or you could be going throughout time in the manner of a thought, I think it fits the story perfectly. So it's a buy for me.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as buy, but I also agree like the story didn't move a whole lot. So it's a 12-issue story going in, so you'll probably I don't say every other issue, but one in every 4 or one in every 3 that, kind of stalls you out a little bit, which kind of sucks a little bit if you just make it 8 and make it tight. But 8-issue miniseries is such an odd number. That's not said a lot. So yeah, you're gonna hit a few of these issues, but it didn't they did it in an enjoyable, fun way to look at, and there were some laughs, and the team is now on to the next phase of the astral plane, because if you really think about it, they only just got in their last issue. You just got the reveal last issue, so it doesn't really bug me. Any that they're just dealing with the beginning effects of it now, and now they're moving on to the phase 2 in issue 3. So
because this is all about getting their bearings, Yeah,
it all does make sense right now, and especially because you're not dealing with anybody that's psychic themselves. They're all been sent in there by a psychic, So they're not, even though some of them have been in there before, super experienced. So it's all pretty believable. A good direction for it to start in. And I like the art a lot. You zoom in on the panels and they don't get blurry or anything. It's really a good job, done well digitally, and I'm sure the physical copy, I didn't get it, but looks good as well. So yeah, buy all around, which is a good recovery from the forget we had all around the previous book. We're going to move on to the midpoint Marvelous Facts. Good segue to our final in-depth book of the night, The Ultimates 2, because we're going to cover 2 characters spotlighted pretty heavily in that story. Yeah, and the first one is Galactus. He's got a first appearance in Fantastic Four number 48 way back in March of 1966. So he's been hanging around a while. That was his first appearance as the Galactus we all know and love, the big purple guy. His first appearance as the actual, human being, so to speak, that he was before turning into Galactus was name being Osgalan. That was in Thor 169 from October of 1969. And he's created in both instances by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
I actually saw that in the back of one of the Ultimates issues when I was reading it. It was like, oh, boy, check out his first appearance in Thor. It was pretty cool.
So, Al Ewing does that in the back of a lot of his comics, and that's always pretty cool. So as far as facts go for our world-famous World Eater, now turned Lifebringer, Galactus is capable of space travel via his own power. However, he disdains the needless expenditure of such power and prefers to travel in starships of his own design. So I thought that was pretty cool and crazy. He's I can't be bothered with using my own energy. I'm going to sit and fucking drive to my next destination, And then the super genius Reed Richards has admitted an inability to fully comprehend even the most rudimentary devices found within Galactus's world ship Ta-2. So that's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So Reed Richards can't touch, the devices and shit the Galactus is responsible for.
Regular Reed, right?
Yeah, regular, not Maker dude, Reed. You got any info on Galactus?
I don't have anything on Galactus.
That's fine. We're moving on to.
I know he's. I think it's common knowledge, but some people don't know that he was a regular guy from. Well, he was a scientist from a universe. The seventh iteration, was it the sixth? I think it might have been the sixth.
Yeah.
The sixth iteration of the current universe, and when the Big Bang happened, he got sucked through, and because of his. I think didn't he combine with his ship and his technology, and I forget what else happened.
Yeah, the explosion combined everything, I'm pretty sure.
And turned him into Galactus. But before that, he was a regular guy, which is very similar to the Guardians of the Galaxy, not the Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel, but the Guardians of the Galaxy from Green Lantern, because they were from the universe previous to this one, and they went through a change also, like Kronos and Volthoom, but different. The same, but different.
Then we're going to move on to Eternity here, and we got a first appearance for Eternity in Strange Tales, number 138 from November 1965. Another Stan Lee and this time Steve Ditko creation. He's an immortal embodiment, or he, I don't know, he, whatever you want to call it, Eternity. It's just a being, is an immortal embodiment of the universe. Thanos, using the Affinity Gauntlet. This is the craziest thing I could find for Eternity here. Ranked Eternity is standing above all abstract entities such as Master Order, Lord Chaos, Sir Hate, Mistress Love, and many other entities, being equal to infinity and below Living Tribunal. So that's how Thanos, using the gauntlet, ranked everybody as far as power goes. So, take that for what you will. But that's all I really had on Eternity. It's not a often used character, but when the character does pop up, something usually big is about to occur or going down or in the midst of going down.
I love how a lot of these cosmic beings are like aspects or thoughts or ideas. You know what I mean? Like, just the crazy. And I love how Ewing explored that in his Ultimates run. But also a fact that he kind of created in that book, but technically it is a fact now, is that Eternity, not only he has multiple forms. So like, even though if anybody read the Ultimates run where they saw that he was chained, and then you read Civil War 2 and you saw Ulysses get taken by him at the end, offered to join him in the other celestial beings, it could be confusing, like how is he here and how is he changed, because he also has different aspects of himself. He has the multiversal aspect and the universal aspect, and that was the universal aspect of himself, which can still roam free throughout the universe, but his multiversal aspect is trapped in this outside the superflow. So
yeah. So that'll kill our midpoint marvelous facts for the night. We're gonna move on to Ultimates 2, number 100. All right, so there's I'll slide Ultimates in there, and then all right, so we'll do Generations and then quick end segment, and we're done here. So I'll save my internet for the night. All right, we're back for a quick summary of Generations, all new Wolverine and Wolverine number 1. And I don't know, I don't really have much more to add. If you've listened to the Marvel Minute at all with Jim and Eric's podcast, Weird Science DC, we've covered the Generations books that we haven't covered on here. And basically, with this being either the 3rd or 4th one in the series, you know, the stories are all essentially exactly the same, whereas you either catch up with the old hero or the new hero at first, and they suddenly meet each other, and they're with the new hero being transported to this place out of nowhere. They go on a quick little adventure together, learn a lesson in the end, and then the other one disappears as soon as that lesson is learned. Making the original hero a quote unquote better person, I guess. Same be going for the new hero that's, you know, their namesake that they've adopted. You know, in Wolverine's case in this story, Laura shows up, they go after some ninjas, they take down the ninjas, which lead them to Sabretooth. Laura chops Sabretooth's hand off to save Wolverine's daughter, and then, you know, they have a chat with each other, and she vanishes.
Father-daughter chat.
Yeah, cool. and then Wolverine is a better dad. The end. You know, I don't know. This was my favorite of the 3 that I think there's been 3 out that I've read so far between Hulk, Jean Grey, and this one.
Yeah,
it was the best well done. There was the least dialogue involved in it, so I enjoyed that. The art was my favorite of the 3 styles, and the violence was my favorite of the 3. So it's still a forget for me altogether. I'm just not a fan of the Generation series. I don't know if I'd even recommend, if you're a fan of the characters that they are putting the books out for, that you pick it up. If you have a kid interested in comics, I think this would be a good way to introduce a brand new person on the fence about comics to a character or you know, the idea of comics in general. But other than that, for, you know, weekly comic buyers, it's not a series I'd recommend.
That's actually a good idea, because, like, say for instance you have a kid who watches TV and he knows that Odinson Thor is Thor, but he doesn't read the comics, so he doesn't know about Jane Foster being Thor. So if he picks up the Thor Generations issue, he gets all the information he needs, probably, of like why they are both where they are, why she's Thor and he's technically not, and you get a cool story out of it. So now he could like pick up a Thor issue, and because they always deal in what's going on in the main series right now. So like you could pick up the Phoenix issue, it'll give you everything you need to know about what's going on in the Jean Grey book, and then you get a little history of both, and now you don't even have to go back. I mean, you could go back. I mean, it would be nice, but you don't. You could start fresh and move forward. You know what I mean? That's actually, hey, look at that. We found a point.
I think that's the point. Maybe they are. Maybe they're solely to pull new people into the Marvel characters, or try a new character out and see what they're about. But they're not for, in any way, shape, or form, longtime fans of the.
Shit, did I lose you? I think I lost you. I think we lost it. Can you hear me? Can you feel the love? Da, 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 da. Can, da, 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 da. I think I lost you, didn't I? Did I lose you? You there? Hello? Hello, is anybody there? I'm sitting on the line. Hello, hello, hello. Is anybody there? Can you hear me? You're here. Okay, you can hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Shit, what the fuck's going on? That's fucked up. Why can't I hear you? I'm spitting all over my keyboard. Shit, this is fucked up. All we had to do. All right. Here we go. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
We got
All right,
it.
we're back. Quick hiccup there. We'll edit that out.
You can leave me singing in the
what do you
Lion
think
King song.
overall? I'm a forget for Generations. Wolverine. Where are you?
Well, I'm gonna disclaim at first because I'm a big Ramon Rosanas fan, and I really loved the art, and I really like Tom Taylor, and this is a really solid Wolverine story, and I'm a sucker for an abandoned child. I'm a sucker for an abandoned child story. So at the end, she gets that moment with her dad, and then they have that like heartfelt talk, and I really did enjoy this issue. I really did. It was great. I'm just gonna give a quick thought. I don't want to go in depth about the story or anything, but I really did enjoy this issue. It was a good time. It was good to get to see them work together, fighting ninjas, going on a mission through the airport, all dressed in like those weird black clothes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for like $5 for like just a run-of-the-mill Wolverine story, even though it has great art and it's a cool story, it's it's not world-changing, and there's nothing too big that happens inside of it that warrants $5 other than the page count. But I really enjoyed it. It's really good, but I recommend it as a borrow. Like if you get the chance, if you have a friend that has a code, or if you're a kid and you live next door and your friend bought it, borrow it, because it's a really fun story and I enjoyed it. Or if you download it, you could always do that. And but other than that, sorry Marvel, I wouldn't. I mean, I bought it because I'm an idiot, but I wish I didn't. Like I had buyer's remorse for every issue of Generations. Every issue I go into it being a sucker, thinking maybe this one's the one, but it never is. And they're always like pointless, even if they're enjoyable. Like the Hulk one was mildly enjoyable. The Jean Grey one was a little enjoyable too. This one was really enjoyable, but I regret it every time I buy it. So, but if I could have borrowed it and just read it real quick or gotten it for free some shape, way, or form, I totally would have read it. So it's a borrow.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so we got one borrow, one forget for Generations. We're going to do a quick sign-out segment. I'm going to go ahead and throw a disclaimer out there. I'm going to have to do a lot of editing this podcast, so if it gets a little choppy or there's any weird moments that you guys hear, things don't make total sense. That's why some, again, internet issues this week that suddenly have sprung up. They'll be fixed tomorrow, so hopefully next week we're back on track for you guys. But for sign out segment this week, I've got just a question posed for both of us, and it's called what are you reading, meaning like catching up on this week? What'd you miss out on lately that you need to catch up on? And I got a few trades that I've started and just haven't finished yet, so I got them stacked next to my little table here that I'm gonna get them done. Two of them I got hard copies of. One of them is started on my tablet, and that's Detective Comics, but that's New 52, and that's volume 1. I got 7 to Eternity. I got to finish the 4th issue in that one, and that's for volume 1. And then I got to finish the last couple issues of volume 1, New 52 Wonder Woman, which I enjoy a ton more than I do the Rebirth Wonder Woman. So,
oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. The Azarilla
and then
one, right?
Yeah. I'm one issue behind in the following titles. So my goal, because I got the house to myself for at least most of the morning after I edit this digital disaster. I got one issue of Gwenpool, Cave Carson, Venom, X-Men Blue to catch up on. And then Jim also sent me this digital copy of a review guide. It's the He-Man and She-Ra Complete Guide to the Animated Adventures. It's a 592-page book.
Nice.
So it like recaps every goddamn episode of the series, of both series, and like gives you digital pictures of it, and like that tells you like notes on every episode. So I've been going through a few episodes, like randomly watching them and then reading the notes about them when I get a little bit of spare time. So that's been fun. That's what I'm up to as far as reading wise this week goes.
That's
How about you?
Oh boy, I got a bunch of things on my plate actually. Well, first I got what is it? I got Mighty Thor. I still got to read Superman. I got to read the conclusion to Weapon X. I got 2 issues of Kill the Minotaur from it's an Image book that I got to get through. It's pretty cool. Trade wise, I on my read pile I've had Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, the J. Michael Straczynski Complete Collection. I read like the first 3 issues, and then I put it down. This was like a month ago, and I've been trying to get back to it ever since, and I just haven't been able to. And there's East of West Volume 2. I read Volume 1 a few months ago, and I have Volume 2 on my read pile. I just haven't gotten to it yet because I've, reading all the issues I read every week, it kind of like taps me out. And then sometimes I like to catch up on stuff we're doing. So like yesterday I read 22 issues of fucking Ultimates. So that stuff pushes me back. I also have Black Science Volume 3 that I got to read. I've been dying to start Saga. I have all 7 volumes and I haven't fucking started Volume 1 yet. I'm also trying to read The Wake by Scott Snyder and fucking Sean Murphy. It's a Vertigo book. I'm trying to read the Paul Jenkins and John Romita Jr. Century maxi series, or the 8-issue maxi series, and 2 books. These are my last 2 that are on my read list. These are like top priorities. Is Supreme Power by J. Michael Straczynski and Gary Frank, which it's beautiful. I've read the first 2 issues, and I've just been dying to complete it. It's 18 issues altogether. I could do that in a day. I'm a lazy bastard. And I've been eye-fucking the shit out of The Goddamned by Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerrera. It's an Image book they did like a year ago, and it's only 5 issues, and I've been dying to read it. It's the creative. They did a Vertigo book together called Scalps that ran for 60 issues, and I've been dying to read The Goddamned, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
All right. Well, that's what we're reading this week, or possibly getting to some of that stuff, hopefully, in my case, because, again, my daughter does come home tomorrow, so that really cuts into my reading time. But we're going to wrap things up. Again, apologize for any digital hiccups we encounter. I'm going to do my best to edit around them, but I won't get all of them. So you hit any of them, we'll improve it next week, I promise. Still working on a new computer here, so that's probably some of it, too. I got to get everything working in tip-top shape. But until then, we're going to end the party. Hope you guys have a good one, and we'll holler at you next week. Peace out.
Peace.